watched it via the Sony Twitch channel, and when you go to the chat, it's just like boring. The three words I think I saw most of the time was boring, cringe, and awful. Like throughout it. And I think what it is now, I don't know whether this is just entitled Sony fans or it could be, it could be very much, could be that, could be Xbox fans, but it's that kind of thing that's just like, I mean, are we really still doing this whole console war kind of thing?
Yes, 100%.
Where it's do people not have lives though? That's the thing that's just so amazing to me. They like that. I think because I don't know. I'm so busy working on so many things and creating so many things, and you're busy working and creating on so many things, and you're going to have a 9-to-5 job, I assume, soon. And it's like, and I feel like these people who come on here, they just don't have lives. They have too much spare time on their hands. They're just there complaining. It's like when people say, "Oh, God of War is cringe." Are you really saying God of War Ragnarok is cringe? Are you really saying what you just saw with Spider-Man 2 is cringe? It's like, come on, guys. That I thought was just absolutely enormous. The whole console wars, the whole gamer entitlement thing in that regard is absolutely ridiculous. This is exhausting, and you can apply this. And this was actually a great question I got on my own channel. This is from Carmi Hazel. She was talking about what is a cult, but what is cultish, but maybe not a cult. And I think like everything. God damn it, we're doing a show, we're doing a podcast, video cast, and it's like now they're going to arrest us and everything like that. There's some siren chats. If you hear that, my apologies. Can't do anything about it. But like you can apply that to anything, whether it be politics, whether it be religion, whether it can be fan bases, whether it's DC, whether it's Marvel, whether it's individual creators, or even whether it's Christopher Nolan or Zack Snyder or whatever. And it's just like, why are you just obsessing over all these like that? Because that's how they can only make their lives feel fulfilled. They obsess over all these specific things. And it's like, don't you have like fucking things to do? And I guess not. And so when I just saw that, I just found it so amusing and just kind of like, oh my God. Because the amount of work you have to put in to just stay in that mindset, that toxic, just nerdy mindset is ridiculous to me.
So how do I put it? I grew up I'm definitely like high school time Gen 7, like the peak of Xbox versus Sony sort of vernacular, all that kind of stuff. And I definitely was a Team Xbox kid. I'm talking PS2 into the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 was just magical to me. First online game, all that kind of stuff, right? But it also just makes me feel like either these people have never, are all under 21.
Yeah.
Or they've never been in a situation to where they're like, dude, I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, if I want both, I'll get both. I don't need to shit on the PS5 for having games. If I really want the games on the PS5, I'll play it.
Yes.
Also, the companies themselves have chilled out with that sort of vernacular. Sony does its own thing, and I think they just need to be nicer with opening up stuff in terms of like internet activities and like crossplay, things of that nature. But the companies themselves, because Xbox's vision is totally different than what Sony's doing. And I still want, and don't get a choice, I still have my complaints about different sides. I'm like, hey, yes, I still think Xbox needs some more reasons to buy an Xbox One in and of itself. Even though I own a Series X, I can tell you that verbatim. The games do run better, play better, and there's experiences on the Xbox Series X that are great. But, there's no, straight up just only on PS5. Like, games like that are just like that only on Xbox, like PS5 has, right? But, and I'll point this on two layers because there's another larger point that I really hate that goes into this too. But, dude, you ain't got to shit on other people for what they like.
Yeah. People really feel the need to do that constantly.
It's first. There's some points where you might have points of contention. And if you and I usually say if you're giving that sort of energy, it should be on something you're super passionate about, or like an area you care about, or in a joking sort of poking fun level of perspective. But I know that there's people who take it to the core, like, so like literally it's like, hey, why? So that people who are tracking the Xbox Series X and the PS5, people will go on the Xbox Series X ones and be like, why aren't you giving updates on PS5? Number one, because the motherfucker doesn't have to. He's doing the service free.
Yeah.
But number two, it's because he has to update on both sides. And then he'll be like, oh, yeah, PS5 win, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, it's fine, or stuff like that, right? But also, I like the consoles for different things.
Sure, exactly.
I love my Series X because Game Pass is the dopest subscription service
very consumer friendly
ever, and I still don't know what they do to make that happen, but there ain't shit that Sony got on Game Pass. And yes, I can play Game Pass on my PC. I have a really good PC. It can run all the games that are on Game Pass on my PC. Sometimes I just want to play in the middle of my living room, and I'm not lugging my $3,000 setup into the living room just to play on my TV. Not happening. So I have a Series X there. And I like my Series X. I also like the experiences I can have on there. You know, it's just cool. It's always nice to have that console in the middle of the space. Now, the reason why I haven't really felt urgent on the PS5 is simply because I've been waiting for some of the exclusives to drop, and this year is a great year to start to get, like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, cool, getting PS5 would be dope.
These people have way too much time on their hands. And their lives are so defined by their chosen group because they want to be included. I mean, as humans, we want to be included in something. You want to be a part of something. And you have certain individuals where when they're a part of something, they will defend it to the death. Like that is it. This is where I'm planting my flag. And I'm going to defend this, or I'm going to attack every other group. And this is not just in the console. This is in every type of medium you can possibly imagine, any walk of life, that we gravitate towards. So it's just like, I mean, because some of these guys, you say like possibly like under 21-year-old people, like all these people are just like in their 40s or in their 50s, fucking still doing this.
It ain't even worth that energy.